Hey everyone, and welcome back to Real Life, Real Crime Daily. And I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino. Hey guys.
Hey Mike.
Guys looking chipper this
What's up?
morning.
Sir,
Three old guys, all with our glasses on, because none of us can see a damn thing without them.
All of us with bald spots.
And all
some of us more than others.
I want to thank the Real Life, Real Crime Daily camera crew for focusing the camera tightly on my bald spot through each episode.
That's right.
Excellent
My
work.
wife in particular is thankful for the opportunity to give me shit about that.
Excellent work. Hey, you know what? This is the first episode of the first 4-day-a-week Real Life, Real Crime
It
Daily
is,
show.
Woody. It is.
Right?
Yes.
Good point.
Love. That's love.
We should have got balloons for this day.
That's right. Pop, pop.
We can work on the balloons.
Yeah.
So how was the fishing extravaganza?
Fish was great, a little early, and we caught some really nice fish, but you had to be a saltwater cowboy. It was rough. At one point I had my eyes closed and I was holding on. It was like I could feel my brainstem teeth about to pop out of my head, and I was like, what kind of idiot does this to themselves? And I was thankful my youngest son wasn't on the boat because he'd have been crying.
So it was more comfortable killing 30-pound turkeys in Wisconsin than it was going
most
fishing.
Definitely. But it's why they call
it.
it fishing, right? And you never know what you're going to get.
That's right.
Weather or fish-wise.
That's right. They used to call me the shark killer.
But I'll tell you what, I had the last 2 days back. Now, camp food is always great. Unfortunately, we didn't have any HelloFresh. The last 2 days back, I've had HelloFresh. The night before last, it was pasta and zucchini and like pork steaks. Holy smokes. And then last night, it was some kind of a pork on a big old bun with, I think, like, what's the orange ones? Sweet potato fries, things that were cut up on the side. I don't know why Jim Chapman, I don't get all the lava cakes and stuff. Well, it must be because my wife's picking it.
That's gotta be.
Yeah, she's trying to save you. I don't end up with the desserts either, but I cooked a great. What was it called? Cappuccini, I think it was called.
Hey, I'm telling you,
that was unbelievable the other night.
Yeah, I saw that. Looked good.
Great stuff. So,
Very good. All right. Well,
let's get to some crime time.
Yeah, it's crime time, and we're going to bring you to Denham Springs right here at home.
Louisiana.
A teen shot a clerk during a violent armed robbery on Saturday night. So a 17-year-old teen has been arrested for allegedly shooting a store clerk during an armed robbery in Denham Springs on Saturday. Just before 11 p.m. Saturday, deputies with the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office were dispatched to a convenience store. Upon investigation, police learned the clerk sustained a gunshot wound to the upper torso during the armed robbery. She was transported to the hospital in critical yet stable condition. Sheriff Jason Ard said the suspect entered the store demanding cash, and a struggle ensued. So she fought him.
Right.
After shooting the clerk, the suspect left the store but was quickly apprehended. The 17-year-old was processed into the Florida Parish's Juvenile Detention Center on charges of attempted first-degree murder and armed robbery.
Shout out to LPSO and Sheriff Ard and Florida Parish Juvenile Detention Center. I was a supervisor there before I started in uniform patrol.
Were you really?
Yeah. So it wasn't a hug-a-thug program.
Yeah.
You only went there for rape or armed robberies or murder or something like that.
Yeah.
And they'll going to upgrade that charge, and that 17-year-old will be processed as an adult once they see a judge.
Well, we obviously pray for this lady to heal up quick, and don't fight those guys.
Hey,
let them have it.
It's not worth it. But I'm going to say this. That dude or girl, I assume it's a dude, is going to be going to Bloody and Gola.
Yeah.
I mean, check out podcast, 142 years in the making, hosted by myself and Jim.
It is the complete story of America's bloodiest prison
by Jim Chapman. But anyway, in Louisiana, you get up to 99 years for the armed robbery, but then they're going to catch the attempted murder charge too.
Yeah.
So, bye-bye.
And if you're a clerk in a store like that, I mean, you've got the person on video, right? I mean, you assume.
Okay,
well,
most of
these
hell,
stores,
even Popeyes, a guy go in and shoot his wife, and then the gun jammed, and he cut her head off at the back door when she's trying to escape. And it's Popeyes, right? And you think, oh my God, I'm good to go. Cameras everywhere. They weren't working.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would think only if your instinct tells you that this guy's gonna, only if you feel like your life is really threatened, should you.
I used to go around the country and train up for like Lee Michaels, fine jury, train all their people on what to do and not to do in robberies, et cetera. I'll tell you something. I'm working in a convenience store. I'm going to help them load the car, whatever they want. It's definitely not worth getting shot over.
Agree. Well,
but he may have called him a nasty bitch or something. They might have caught the red ass and wanted to whoop that ass.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And being a young kid, if you're an adult, you're probably like, come here, you little pipsqueak.
Well, glad they called him.
Yep. Well, really rough couple of days for our friends in the Lone Star State.
Oh, smokes, man. Jeez, Louise, I'm telling you, it's crazy.
When it rains, it pours, I guess. The first story I want to talk about is what happened at this outlet mall in Allen, Texas.
I've been there. Y'all been there?
Not to that.
Yeah.
I've been there. Yeah.
Not to that mall. I'm talking about to Allen, Texas.
Oh, I'm sure I've been through Allen, Texas anyway, as often as I've been to Dallas. But certainly the last place you think you're going to find trouble like this on a Saturday afternoon is a mall. But unfortunately, a shooter began a rampage at about 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. The security footage captures him exiting what appears to be a gray Dodge Charger. There was a police officer at the scene. Many of you have probably heard his audio of him calling this thing in as he is sprinting toward the gunfire. Once again, we have bravery on display and an officer alone and having really at that point no knowledge of what he's up against, running toward the gunfire. And in the end, 6 victims were declared dead at the scene, while 2 more died later of their injuries at a hospital. I believe 7 are still in the hospital from their injuries. They may have released one of them yesterday. I'm not positive on that. This, as we said, all occurred at this outlet mall owned by the Simon Malls Company outside of Dallas in the town of Allen. The officer, as he called in, said, "I've got people running. They're still shooting. I need everybody I got," in terms of him calling for reinforcements for backup. The dramatic call for backup came as he was rushing into the H&M store. We're all familiar with H&M stores. They're at a bunch of these malls. There was a clerk in that H&M store, and this is an unbelievable story, who pulled a bunch of shoppers together, walked them through the store, to the back of the store, to behind the fitting rooms, to a closet, put 12 people into a closet in the back of that H&M store. Yeah. And after everything was over, one of those 12 reported having to walk by that woman's dead body on the way.
Oh, no.
How many? That's horrible. How many did you say were killed?
That's awful.
8 were 8 were killed in all,
and a bunch more on the deathbed.
I don't know the severity of all the injuries. 2 we know passed away in the hospital, but to hear that story, that really brought it home for me. You have somebody who's prioritizing the safety of shoppers in her store. And we're talking a clerk in a mall, right? We're not talking the proprietor of the store or anything. And she gets them back to a safe area. And why she didn't stay in that area with them instead of going back out, don't know. But after the shooter was killed and police went and got the people out of the room, unfortunately, the woman that had saved them had ended up being one of the victims. So pretty sad piece of the story. The shooter, who was identified as 33-year-old Mauricio Martinez Garcia of Dallas, as soon as his name was released, a bunch of outlets and people on social media started jumping on board before really anybody could actually know the full story here. What we've heard after a couple of days is this is somebody who had issues, who was discharged from the Army, who was had lived in the Dallas area his entire life, was working as a security guard. He had a number of very questionable social media posts. Some described him as a white supremacist. I have not in my time heard of a brown white supremacist, but anyway, a bunch of those reports are being contradicted by other reports, and I would just say to everybody, suspend all of that stuff until we know more and the investigation has been concluded and the police come out with definitives here. These races to carve a narrative into these stories and cement that with the public. I mean, we just don't know until we know.
And I get that. The only thing we do know for a fact is that he went into the Army, but this was like in 2008 or something, y'all. And within 3 months, the Army discharged him for identified it as a problem.
Health issues, they said.
But here's the deal. If the Army discharges you from basic training, you are a fuck up. And when I was in, I'm talking about you had people with narcolepsy and like literally couldn't stay awake or just nut jobs. And how they got that far in the process, I guess the recruiter didn't care. But if they discharge you at that early in the stage in the game, you better believe you're probably not going to be president.
Well, and I'm sure that's one of the things that will come out, the circumstances surrounding his release. And also, depending on how the circumstances of that release.
Yeah. And all the
how does this person go about acquiring? He had an AR, he had a handgun,
and all this other stuff about being a Nazi or Proud Boys and all that. That's like you said, a speculation at this point, but it'll come out. But we're not saying this douchebag's name anymore. I mean, it's we'll just call him the shooter.
I'll just call him douchebag from So yes, this douchebag whose last name at least was Garcia.
Right.
We will wait to hear, what the actual truth in the background is from the Army, and suspend ourselves from some of the media narratives that are circulating until we know more. And it is amazing how long these things take. Where I don't know, was it 2 months ago, at least a month and a half ago, that church school in Nashville was shot up, and we still don't have the manifesto from the shooter that case.
That's where your friend was the principal, right?
Was the principal who was killed.
We hate it, and I don't know what the world's coming to, but I'm gonna take you. Allen, Texas is up there by Dallas, right? And I used to live in Farmers Branch when I was doing defense consulting work across the United States. But so from one end of Texas to the other, and I actually was here too, Brownsville, Texas. Okay, 7 people were killed and at least 11 injured when a man crashed his vehicle into a crowd of pedestrians in Brownsville on Sunday. 7 victims died at the scene, and at least 11 others have been transported to area hospitals. The driver has been arrested and charged. They haven't released any information about the driver, but he's currently receiving medical treatment at an area hospital and is under 24-hour supervision. I would assume, y'all, if that's suicide watch. He's also being tested for drugs and alcohol. The incident took place outside Brownsville's Ozanam Center, a shelter for migrants and homeless people in the community. It is unclear whether the shelter had any relevance to the attack. The victims were waiting at a city bus stop next to the center at roughly 8:30 a.m. when the attack occurred. Witnesses near the intersection reported seeing several bodies covered in the street, as well as a group of women praying nearby. Video of the aftermath showed numerous bodies severely disfigured, including victims who had missing limbs with road and sidewalk covered in blood. I don't know how they can say they know it's an attack. if they're testing for alcohol and blood or whatever. But I mean, it happens. People do get intoxicated and crash their shit in the crowds. But he must have really been going fast to kill 7, tear off body limbs and stuff, and injure 11 more. They're calling attack, y'all. We don't know. We'll get back to you on this one. Hearts go out to the people again, everywhere that die from crimes or violence. This is a crime no matter what, whether it was a planned attack or not, we don't know. But run into a migrant center.
Yeah, Texas having an issue.
Tough, rough.
Of late, so.
Well, and this week, the Title 42 comes to an end, and they're projecting that they're going to have a massive run on the border, and you've got lines that you haven't seen since you took your kids to Disneyland years ago that are lined up to come through. So let's hope that they get through this weekend without
getting run
a whole
over.
bunch of this kind of stuff.
Right. So any of y'all play golf? I know Mike does.
Attempt to sometimes.
Yeah. I'm like Woody. I attempt to swing a golf club, but I love to play. Well, Tiger Woods, probably arguably the greatest golfer to ever live, outside of maybe Jack Nicklaus,
right?
And of course the Shark himself,
Greg
Norman.
No.
Greg Norman.
No, the Shark is not in that conversation, and Tiger is better than Nicklaus was. I mean, Tiger just short-circuited his career before he could eclipse.
He definitely loves the ladies. There's no doubt about it, Mike. And Erica Herman, who is a longtime girlfriend of the professional golfer Tiger Woods, has accused the 15-time major champion of sexual harassment. Woods is accused of pursuing a sexual relationship with Herman while she worked for him and forcing her to sign an NDA or she'd be fired from her job. Now, I can't really blame Tiger there. He's been through the ringer, and so he's Tiger Woods.
I'm pretty sure
he's got millions and millions and millions of dollars. You're his girlfriend. Just sign this paper saying you're not going to tell
I'm pretty sure the NDA doesn't cover rape or sexual assault.
Yeah. I wouldn't think so. Maybe it had the verbiage in there.
Yeah, it did.
If I sexually assault you, you can't tell nobody.
That lawyer for getting away with that. Yeah.
Well, Herman, she was an employee at his South Florida restaurant known as the Woods Jupiter at the time. Tiger Woods, the internationally renowned athlete and one of the most powerful figures in sports, decided to pursue a sexual relationship with his employee then. Now, this is according to her lawyer. He forced her to sign an NDA about it or else be fired from her job. And when he became disgruntled with their sexual relationship, he tricked her into leaving his home, locked her out, took her cash, pets, and personal possessions, and tried to strong-arm her into signing a different NDA. A boss imposing different work conditions on his employee because of their sexual relationship is sexual harassment, says her attorney. Now, her attorney alleges a scheme used against Herman last year where Woods asked her to pack for a weekend getaway to the Bahamas.
Nice.
She was allegedly driven to the airport and then was asked to speak to Woods' attorney. Then Mr. Woods
to sign that paper.
Yeah.
Did she
before we go to the Bahamas?
I need you to
sign this.
Did she still get to go to the Bahamas or the Bahamas?
Well, we're getting to that, Mike. We're getting to that. So then Mr. Woods' California lawyer came out of the blue, told her she was not going anywhere and would never see Mr. Woods again. She had been locked out of the house and could not return, the document said, and she would not even be able to see the children or her pets again. Herman was asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which she refused to do. Herman has brought 2 separate complaints involving Woods in the past year. The first, filed in October of 2022, alleges a trust owned and created by the golf star violated the Florida Residential Landlord-Tenant Act, breaking her oral tenancy agreement to continue to live in Woods' home, which I'm sure is as big as Mike's at least.
I don't think it's that
the
big.
size of my guest house.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
It's doghouse.
Now, as part of the suit, a trustee of Woods' trust had asked the court to order Herman to arbitrate her claim pursuant to arbitration provision in a non-disclosure agreement she signed in 2017. In an earlier briefing, Herman cited a statute that says plaintiffs in sexual harassment or assault disputes cannot be compelled to arbitrate those claims. The most recent suit, filed in March, Herman argues the 2017 agreement is not enforceable in part because of a new federal law invalidating arbitration clauses in sexual assault or sexual harassment cases. So Tiger Woods, what do y'all think about that?
I don't know. I think that
I got some thoughts.
I think
on that.
They probably, if that verbiage, however it was in that NDA, that they thought they got away with it until they challenged it.
Look, I don't know this woman. I don't know the story, but I do know that this guy's been put through the ringer for his behavior in the past. He's paid deeply for his past mistakes. And everywhere the guy goes, women throw themselves at him.
Oh, absolutely.
And so this smells to me like somebody who wants a settlement. And it sounds like Tiger's kind of said, no, bullshit. This was all clear what our relationship was. You understood, and I'm not writing you a big check. And he's daring her to take it all the way, whether they really have a case or not.
Not like his reputation can take that much of a bigger hit, meaning like he's already been through the ringer, like you said.
Yeah, he's had a lot of personal issues in the past.
Had sex with a lady.
But you have to be really careful when you have Tiger Woods money. I mean, look, Tiger Woods money is stupid.
Hey, what are you talking about? Mike knows all about
money. You hear me?
Hey, Mike knows all about.
Yeah, I know. And Mike has to be careful about all these women.
You need to school Tiger on how to act.
Well, I should send him the various NDAs I've had my wife sign, so that he can pull the Derek.
You're gonna be in trouble.
I think the stories about Derek Jeter were that he would have somebody come over and he would have them. The very first thing they had to do was sign the release.
Yeah.
So it was very clear what was happening that night and what they weren't getting out of it. But then he had a really nice gift basket for them at the end. So they had really nice parting gifts.
Right,
So it's like losing on Jeopardy. You get the nice parting gift. So I think Tiger, who I know knows Derek Jeter pretty well, should have taken one out of his book. But it does sound like they were together for a while, and she built a relationship with the kids, which that part's and apparently the animals too. I don't know, dogs or whatever. So I guess that part's sad. But it surprised me. The pictures of her were surprising because usually he has gone for something a little bit more voluptuous. I mean, she looks like kind of girl next door-ish. I mean, she's attractive.
You're so sexist.
But what's that?
Why are you? You're so sexist. Why are you always
how's that
judging
sexist?
females?
I'm talking about
judging females by how they look. Shame on you.
Tiger's taste. The guy lived in the champagne room at a titty bar for like 5 years, and so he and then he had Lindsey Vonn for a while. They went out together, and Lindsey's definitely the skier, voluptuous. And so this girl,
what's he supposed to go after?
No, he broke rank here. This is a little. She's got kind of olive oilish.
Oh my God! We're gonna go on to the next story.
Tiger usually goes a little.
Y'all, that's Mike being sexist.
It was not sexist. I'm talking about what his normal taste is. My God.
Hey y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something. and all the dishes were fire. But this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
Because y'all be hanging out all the time.
This is the perfect story for me to follow up from that with. We're going to go to Ohio. The great state of Ohio.
Home of the Buckeyes.
Where a judge in Xenia County ruled that a trans woman, now, Woody, for you, that means a biological male who identifies as a female.
Biological male, do they have a vagina?
That's an important part of the story. Please hold back those opinions. The trans woman named Rachel Grimes, so the judge ruled that a trans woman named Rachel Grimes did not commit indecent exposure in a female changing room. Ohio state laws that a trans person may choose to use the bathroom of either their biological gender or the gender to which they identify. So the state allows that person to choose.
Yeah. If you go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll save it to you. It's going to be the same statement either way.
Okay. So the court documents originally reported 3 charges of indecent exposure against Grimes, who previously went by the name Darren, but since 2021 has transitioned to Rachel. Witnesses claimed that women, including some juveniles, saw a, quote, naked man in the female locker room with a visible penis. The charges against Grimes were then brought to court this winter. So that's the charges were that that Grimes was basically in the female locker room at a YMCA, actually exposing herself, the him parts of herself.
According to Ohio law, that's not an issue.
Well, that comes into play here. So Judge David McNamee eventually cleared Grimes of the charges, insisting there was little dispute in terms of the facts of the case. So everybody kind of said the same thing had happened. And his major point was, regardless of whether she had permission to be in the locker room, as well as the facts. The biggest thing is that Grimes is so heavy that, quote unquote, her fat covered the penis anyway. So the judge actually ruled that none of this mattered because Grimes is so fat that the fat patch
how the fuck does he know?
Floated
Did he make it
in front of and prevented anyone, either him by looking down or them by looking across, of seeing his penis. So basically, it was a penis in a cave is what.
Oh my God!
He ended up having.
See,
after
Mike
all
is
that.
worse than me and he's just sly about it.
How is that sly? I'm just. That is literally what the judge. Here's exactly what he said. Okay, there is no question that Grimes was in the women's locker room. However, Grimes was not charged with trespass, nor was Grimes charged with being in an area of the YMCA where Grimes was not supposed to be. Quite simply, the facts do not exist to support a guilty verdict. Grimes' genitalia was not visible as a result of other portions of her body covering.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! Her genitalia. So I've never seen a ruling like that, but basically the judge ruled too fat to be indecent.
Oh Lord! Well, maybe they saw the balls and not the penis. I have no idea. I might have lost. You know what? I don't care what your sexuality is. I don't care what you do, who you identify as. I mean, as long as you treat me as a human being. But I do care, and like this law, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not getting political, but it's bullshit. If you're a man and you go into the changing room with my daughters or my wife and you whip out your shit, fat or skinny or whatever, and I'm gonna beat your ass. That's just the way it's gonna happen. I'm going to prison. I'm not president because I'm not going to kill him, but I'll probably just kick him in the nuts.
The statements of Woody Overton do not necessarily reflect the opinion of
the statements of Mike Agovino do not reflect Woody Overton's shit either. Hey, in Mike's defense, the judge said the shit about being fat, and Mike didn't say it.
That's right. It was a quote, direct quote.
Wow.
Jim is going to post the picture though, and so we'll let you guys decide. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Holy shit!
Trust me, I searched high and low.
I bet you did.
I bet the judge had to too. I mean, how in the fuck can the judge get away with saying that, dude?
I guess there must have been photos as
must have been something. I don't know, but you know what, y'all. I don't know, crazy. Let me
email the judge and
take you to a more serious story out of my people up in Wisconsin, and we're not talking about business, Mike. This is just crazy. I don't know what the fuck the world's coming to, but a Wisconsin deputy was shot while tending to a DUI suspect. A St. Croix County, Wisconsin deputy was shot and killed on Saturday night while responding to a possible drunk driver who drove into a ditch. Deputy Katie Liesling, 29, responded to the scene of the car crash in Glenwood, Wisconsin at about 6:15 p.m. on Saturday and encountered the driver, Jeremiah Johnson. Another vehicle had stopped to assist Johnson prior to Liesling's arrival. The deputy asked Johnson to perform a field sobriety test before returning to his vehicle, but he became evasive to her request. After about 8 minutes, Johnson turned toward Liesling, drew a handgun, and shot her. The shooting was reportedly captured on body camera, which showed Liesling returning fire with 3 shots, never once hitting Johnson before he hauled ass into the woods. The people in the vehicle that stopped to help Johnson began life-saving measures on Liesling, who was taken to a nearby hospital where she later died. Officers responded to the scene, searched the woods near the scene, and nearly an hour after Liesling was shot, an officer located Johnson, heard a shot, and watched him fall to the ground. Officers recovered a handgun where Johnson was found dead, and they're saying law enforcement officials did not just charge their weapons during the search for Johnson. The sheriff said Liesling served with the St. Croix County Sheriff's Office since 2022, and prior to joining, she had served with another office in South Dakota for over about 2 years. You know, maybe this asshole took his own life. had it on his mind or whatever, but I can tell you swim. I'm not even say that part, but just say that if you killed my fellow deputy and I get to run into the woods after you, sometimes justice needs to be just us. But anyway, he's dead. Unfortunately, she's dead, and our heart goes out to her and everyone who knew him. Y'all, when cops get killed, it's not just their family members. It's all the people that they work with. Like Mike, you were here the other morning. A deputy pulls up because he thinks you're a burglar about to break into the studio. And I was in here recording, and I walk out. It's a guy I trained like 20-some years ago. And you know, it's brotherhood and the sisterhood, everything is real. So hearts go out to all, everybody who knew and loved her. And
that was a routine stop, right?
Yeah, but the routine stops are the ones that kill, Mike. That's what I used to teach them. Routine stops will get you killed. And, you know, hindsight's 2020. Usually on a DWI, if I'm interviewing, I didn't write DWIs, but I would call a trooper to come get them. But if I'm interviewing someone on stuff like that, and maybe they put their hands in the pocket the first time, I'll say, hey, take your hands out of your pocket for officer safety. They're going to, you know, they're the high or drunk, whatever, they're going to put them back in. I know they are. And the second time they do it, I would gently guide them to the hood of my car and say, I'm going to pat frisk you now for officer safety because you keep putting your hands in your pocket, right? Hindsight's 2020. Evidently, this guy had a firearm and he had it on his mind. Who knows? But routine, there's such thing as routine in law enforcement. Routine gets you killed. But it's not her fault. I mean, the guy just wanted to do what he wanted to do.
That's right. And she went after him and, you know, even in death and fired off 3 shots.
Yeah. And there you have another story of a cop who's probably making almost nothing comparable to what the national medium of income is, et cetera, putting their lives on the line every day. And another case of all give some and some give all.
Amen. Woody, what's the Louisiana Board of Private Security Examiners?
That is the board that oversees PIs and their license, which I was grandfathered in back in like 1992.
Well,
yeah,
they've had some problems as of late.
That they have.
And we're going to tell you about one. So the former head of the Louisiana Board of Private Security Examiners may have hired a former female exotic dancer from a club he frequented to serve in one of the agency's paid positions without documenting her qualifications.
For those of you like Mike Agovino that have never been to a place like that, it's actually more commonly known as a strip club, Mike.
Yes. Yes, and an investigation of the board found Fabian Blanche III, the board's chief administrative officer and executive secretary, hired the woman, Bridget Hall, in 2016 to be a receptionist. 6 months later, she was hired as his administrative assistant. Now, not long after, both Blanche III and Hall were placed on administrative leave after allegations of inappropriate conduct were brought up to other members of the board. So basically people that worked with them would see things going on in the office, like maybe he's massaging her neck or she's massaging his neck or whatever. And they were like, oh, you know, this is making us uncomfortable. So they sent these letters to the board anonymously, kind of, you know, raising awareness of this. So the board investigated it, and before allowing the two to return to work, the board began prying into Hull's work history. They were curious, what did she do before this? What qualifies her? Well, at which point her attorney disclosed she had previously worked as an exotic dancer at one of the clubs that Blanche III would frequent. The board also discovered it had no work history for Hull on record. So he hired her and he didn't even put in any of her qualifications. So believe it or not, Hull was allowed to return to work under some conditions. And these were the conditions: avoid sitting on anyone's desk and sit in a chair in an appropriate manner.
Meaning no sharing stuff and flashing.
No showing
Yeah.
No showing the panties, I guess. Hull was also,
if you were wearing them.
If you were wearing them. Hull was also directed to avoid engaging in any behavior that involves revealing any tattoos to anyone that are not naturally and normally visible in proper business attire, because one of the complaints was she had a tattoo near, below the waist.
Yeah.
And she was showing it to a couple of people. Right. So, despite all of that, the board appointed Hull as the executive secretary when Blanche III was eventually dismissed for more alleged misconduct. Mm-hmm. So, board members basically voted to immediately terminate Hull from her position after she was arrested in Denham Springs by the McDonald's, for those in the Denham Springs area. You know where that's at, on Florida Boulevard.
Wasn't it like a vehicle pursuit and shit?
Well, it was not with her. So what happened was, this is interesting, y'all. At the McDonald's in question, Hull was buying drugs from a well-known drug dealer. Okay. And it just so happened he was under surveillance at that time. So they were surveilling him. A attorney general's office employee just happened to be at McDonald's, recognizes the drug dealer, and recognizes her. And he's like, wait a minute, what is she doing? So they catch her in the midst of this drug deal. They arrest her. The guy, the drug dealer, runs. He eventually hits another car, and they end up catching him.
But she was in possession or something, right?
Yeah, she was. She was in the middle of purchase. Yes, yeah. They waited till she bought it, and put it in her pocket or whatever. Basically, she is now, obviously fired after that incident at the Denham Springs McDonald's, but hired his exotic dancer, and she was making $120,000 a year.
Let me give you a little knowledge.
Wait, making that money as a dancer, not as
as his personal secretary
or the PI board.
She had to take dictation.
I thought that was her. I thought that was her champagne room intake.
Not
her
payments. Let me check this out.
She had to take dictation.
Out, okay? I'm going to tell you, I'm almost positive, because I know how it works with the Louisiana Polygraph Board. Which I was asked to sit on a couple of times, and I turned it down. But these board members, and especially the head guy, they're appointed by the governor. It's an appointed position. It's a fluff position. They meet like probably once a month. They'll do testing once a month, whatever, all the new applicants, et cetera. And they take, it's all fucking fluff. And it's a kiss ass gift appointed position, and then he hires a stripper, doesn't even do a background search on her. She's making $120,000 a year. Y'all ought to be pissed off as Louisianans that you're paying. I'm sure part of that's coming from their license fees, the PI's license fees, but you're paying for that bullshit.
Well, you're assuming he didn't do a background check. I think this proves
they would have found out she was a titty dancer.
I think this proves completely that he did a background check on her.
Yeah. The state of Louisiana has no record of an employment history. But obviously maybe she wasn't calling on taxes, but she was swinging, and he was ringing the thing there. So we don't know if he was appointed by the current governor or previous governor. It doesn't matter. It's your tax dollars at work.
Poor girl, just out trying to earn a living.
Yeah, and buying meth or whatever, and has a pistol and a firearm and all that. I mean, hey, she's above the law because she's the secretary for the PI examiner board, president or whatever.
Personal assistant.
No sitting on the desk.
Woody.
Yeah, personal.
Personal
Hey,
assistant.
I'm not the one being sexist
or
today.
PA.
It's now up to you and Mike. I mean, to you and Jim.
Secretary, only if you're like Alejandro Mayorkas do you go by secretary. It's
personal
assistant.
I mean, secretary just sounds cheaper. I'd be calling him personal assistant also. If I was a secretary, I wouldn't be called a personal assistant.
Real Life, Real Crime Daily previously reported a couple weeks ago on the escape of 4 inmates from the Raymond Detention Center just outside of Jackson, Mississippi.
Real escapees, because they
were real escapees. Remember, no, they did not go to the IHOP. We believe they spent the night sleeping on a roof, and then in the morning they went in 4 different directions. We have chronicled
some of them
since then. People. 2 of them that had gone obviously separate ways, but had a bad experience out there in the free world. So the jail escape happened through breaches of a cell and the roof in that prison, and it was thought that the inmates camped out on the roof and departed at different times and headed in different directions to elude capture. At the time, we gave them much higher grades than the Norfolk escapees that went to IHOP. Right. Yes, but police have hunted down the four with a meticulous effort. Jerry Raines, age 52, was arrested in Spring Valley, Texas, about 10 miles west of Houston, after allegedly stealing a public works vehicle. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Dylan Arrington is the one who caused all kinds of problem and left a wake of death and destruction in his path. Dylan Arrington, 22, was finally killed in a standoff with police 2 weeks ago Wednesday after barricading himself in a central Mississippi home and setting it on fire. He's suspected of killing the pastor, Anthony Watts, 61, of Simpson County, and stealing his red pickup truck. So
hell or jail for him. Bye-bye.
Hell, he's dead.
Yeah, right.
And so now a third member of the four escaped inmates has been found dead in Louisiana, according to police. His name, Casey Grayson, age 34, was found deceased Sunday in a vehicle at a truck stop in New Orleans. This is according to the Hinds County Sheriff, Tyree Jones, who we've heard a lot from during the course of this case. Jones told reporters that the police believe a family member may have provided the vehicle to Grayson after the escape. Quote, there was drug paraphernalia and suspected narcotics recovered in close proximity to where he was discovered in the vehicle. Grayson's cause of death is still pending an autopsy. But with Grayson's death now, only one of the four inmates who broke out of the detention center on April 22nd remain at large. His name is Corey Harrison, age 22, and the manhunt continues. Corey Harrison.
Well, boy, probably got him some fentanyl.
Yeah. There was never any kind of interaction with law enforcement there. They was reported. They went and found out that the guy that was dead was him, and
he'd be dead.
The autopsy's not done, but likely it will come back to drugs.
Hell of jail for him too, and it's hell evidently. Well, all right. Thanks for the update, Mike. And, now I'm going to tell you about a story out of Colorado, and this is kind of freaky. There's a lady who bought a house in Centennial, Colorado, and she's 40 years old. No problem for about 2 weeks until she found snakes. Snakes, plural. Jim Chapman. 2 snakes? Oh, she was shocked to discover that.
Were they anacondas?
Anacondas, Jim Chapman. They wish they could be your anaconda. A woman was shocked to discover that her new 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in Centennial, Colorado, was infested with snakes. In less than a 2-week period, Amber Hall found 10 snakes slithering within the walls of her garage. She first discovered the unwelcome visitors slithering up the wall when her dog looked on intently at the back wall of her garage. She found the first snake coiled up next to the door in a crevice in the wall, and when she put her hand on the wall above, she could feel the warmth which she believed emanated more snakes. Now, I don't understand that because snakes are cold-blooded. But anyway, we'll keep going. Hall stated, my kids now are afraid to go sleep in our beds and are afraid to use the restroom because snakes might come out of the toilets. I can't unpack any of my stuff because I'm definitely afraid that there's snakes in the boxes or under the boxes. The 42-year-old mom has since spent around $1,000 to hire a snake wrangler to humanely remove the snakes from the house. I'm not hiring anybody to remove anything to do with a snake humanely. That snake is going to die. The only good snake's a dead snake unless it's Jim's anaconda. According to the snake wrangler, based on the size of the snake, some may have been living in the house for at least 2 years. Hall also added that she may not feel comfortable living in a home until she rips up the concrete and locates where they're living. Well, they're super snakes so they can breathe on the concrete. This is my first home I've worked my whole life for, and I can't enjoy it. My kids can't enjoy it, and I'm scared to death. The legal angle here is that if the snakes were there, That means the house was unlivable and therefore the house was sold to Hall illegally. While Hall contemplates filing those charges, it appears the real estate agency may be stepping up to pay for the cost of snake-proofing the house. I don't get it. I mean,
that would be the least they could do.
Well, but let me say this: they how the hell did they inspect these houses before you buy them?
Right.
How did the inspector miss 10, 15 snakes?
I you know what? How do you?
Well, but they're inside the walls.
They're in Colorado. Snakes.
Yeah, but I mean, you would think there would be some sort of evidence of that many snakes in the house.
I mean,
and he's supposed to look in walls.
I don't know.
Check all that.
I don't know. The deal being is she's talking about them coming out of the toilets and everything else. That it just really doesn't happen. People, it's not snakes on a plane in the movie. My other thought
that was a great movie,
is,
by the way. I'm surprised it didn't.
This is in Colorado. It's now South Louisiana, where you may see a snake once the weather turns cold. All right, fucking Colorado, the snakes are going dormant. And I mean, they like warm places, and she's saying she could feel
this happened during this happened during the winter.
It doesn't matter what time. They're saying the snake's been living there for years.
Yeah.
How do people not know that? But you know what? It sounds like.
Well, I think that's their point, is that the owner who sold the house had to know about the snake problem and sold it that way anyway and didn't disclose. And the realtor and that owner are culpable because they didn't disclose that.
She needs to call.
We'll let the lawyers argue.
That's what I say. She needs to call my buddy I told y'all about before, Thomas Davenport, ripping balls off in all federal courts and everything. She can call him at 318-445-9696, and he will get you some satisfaction. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that sounds like where she's going anyway, right? As a lawsuit.
Wow.
Well, or a settlement by a real estate company.
Well, lawyers handle that part too, right?
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdowns scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holiday. That's why as a MyLowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowe's.com/MyLowe's Rewards, because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
29-year-old woman has been killed. She was stabbed 15 times in an apparent random attack on a hiking trail. Now, the 29-year-old woman was killed on a Phoenix hiking trail last week, and she was stabbed 15 times. Her name is Lauren Hike. She was found dead in the desert area around 10:30 a.m. local time Saturday. A 22-year-old suspect was arrested by the name of Zion William Teasley. He's been charged with first-degree murder. His bond was set at $1 million. Teasley had recently been terminated from his job for being aggressive towards females. According to the probable cause document, management at the job told investigators that he often carried a pocket knife, which would have been consistent with the murder weapon. So Phoenix police were on their way to a person down call on a hiking trail on Saturday when they got a call from Hike's friend saying she did not show up from work that day, and it was unusual. So investigators determined there was blood and personal items at the crime scene showing her path of travel, and they believe she was chased over a barbed wire fence. Wow. So this guy snuck up behind her, started chasing her. She's running. She even jumped a barbed wire fence. The medical examiner determined she had 15 stab wounds in her upper body, and there were defensive wounds on her hands and forearms. Wow. I believe Lauren fought off her attacker and was able to flee, but her injuries were just too severe. Yeah. Phoenix Police Lieutenant James Hester told reporters. Hester said he believes at this time the attack was random, but added police have not concluded the investigation into that. Some of Hike's belongings were found along the trail, and police, as we said, believe that she ran for quite a ways and even scaled that barbed wire fence before succumbing to her injuries. Now, on May 2nd, police posted a short video showing a person of interest. They were able to develop a forensic profile and used additional images, DNA, and cell phone evidence to identify Teasley as the prime suspect. He was arrested at his apartment on May 4th at approximately 6 p.m. and was booked on charges of homicide and a probation violation. He had been fired from his job, as we said, for aggressive behavior towards females, and he was accused of stealing products from his job as well. Teasley allegedly carried a 3-inch blade pocket knife, and that's what they think was used to kill Hike. During an interview, Teasley told police that he is a Christian and struggles with his sexuality. He reportedly said he recognized Hike but couldn't explicitly say she was killed or that he had met her. And when asked if he planned to kill Hike, Teasley said, "I'm definitely not the person who plans to kill another person." He added, "If I was going through something like that, it would not be premeditated." Prior to Hike's death, Teasley was in prison from July 2021 to November of 2022 for armed robbery, burglary, aggravated assault, and kidnapping. The murder weapon has not been recovered, and
they're gonna get
a piece of shit. Basically, is this guy.
His statements definitely make him look guilty, but they'll get more.
Jim, everything okay at home? Is everything all right?
Why?
I'm a little worried about your stories today. I mean, we have you doing Tiger Woods and the breakup with the girlfriend there. Then
Personal assistant.
Then we have the stripper who was hired to work for the in there. And then this one. The only reason this story is anywhere, not that it's not a sad story or somebody dying, is that this woman is really good looking, and that's why it got all the coverage nationally. So I'm concerned about Jim's story choices and all of these.
I never mentioned her looks once in that story. You mentioned her looks.
Mike is going to get.
Maybe Mike's jealous that Jim got those stories. Is that what we're?
Is everything okay at your home?
Is everything okay? No, everything's really effed up at my house right now. But concerning.
Now look, y'all. We know that y'all love our little intro to kinky crimes, but we changed it because we wanted something that would be just ours,
right,
and wasn't owned by somebody else.
Yeah. In other words, we didn't want to get our asses sued. So
for lack of a better term.
This is this opening is fire too. Let's play it.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, y'all.
Smooth jazz.
You know what that means?
It means
it's Kinky Crime.
And it's Kinky Crimes for Wednesday, May the 10th. Y'all, listen to this shit. This is crazy. Allison Weaver, 44, is facing multiple charges, including assault with intent to maim and assault by strangulation. There was an officer who walked in on the scene around 1:30 a.m. in response to reports of screams, found 2 women on the bedroom floor, one nude and wearing only underwear, but both were covered in blood.
Hey now.
So it reminds me of Witches of the East Side.
Sounds kinky to me.
Crime. Right, here we go. The nude woman sitting up on her knees seemed to be in a happy, tight mood, the sheriff's deputy said. She was having a good time. The other woman found laying on her back almost appeared like she may have been in shock, the deputy said. When he asked for an explanation, he said the nude woman, 44-year-old Allison Weaver, told me that we were having consensual sex and that the victim was a vampire and Miss Weaver was the wolf.
What's wrong with that?
Not the Woody Overton wolf, y'all, a different one.
It's called role playing.
The victim, 48, right, had part of her ear bitten off.
Ouch.
And numerous bite marks on her face. Dude, let me tell you something. Nothing hurts worse than human bite, right? I know that. I've been bitten.
Where? I don't see any noticeable.
Yeah, well.
Once bitten, twice shy.
That's because I got clothes on. All right, the other woman... Well, I told you that. The unnamed victim denied to the officer that there was anything consensual going on. The victim said she went to bed alone on September 16, leaving her friend Weaver, who'd come over that night with 2 pouches of pre-mixed rum and opened a bottle of vodka on the couch in another room. She said that she was later startled awake from her sleep. She said, I remember jumping off my bed and seeing Allison on all 4s on my bed and giving me a really scary look. She just kept giving me this look with her head going back and forth. And I was like, what are you doing? She just lunged at me and she started strangling me. The woman said she briefly lost consciousness. Next thing I remember, after her strangling me, I only remember a couple of things. I remember her strangling me. The next thing I remember is trying to get away and hearing her clear as day with no reflection in her tone, just saying, sorry. But you're going to have to die today.
Oh.
Yeah, oh, shit. Sorry. I just started screaming bloody murder and began banging on the door saying, no, no, no. I can't believe I'm going to die like this. Someone come and please help, help. Weaver of Rochester Hills was charged with criminal sexual conduct, 2nd-degree assault with intent to do great bodily harm, and assault with intent to maim. And her ass got sent to jail, was charged with all kinds of stuff.
Love it.
That's definitely kinky sex crimes.
I play wolf and vampire all the time, and it never goes that far.
I might ask Wendy about that. Thank y'all. Kinky crime.
Oh, yeah. Another kinky crime. That was kinky.
I'll sleep better with
that
with the new theme music for sure.
Right?
Yes.
Let's play wolf and vampire.
Oh my gosh!
Give me some banjos.
The vampire.
And I'm
I'll
not
be the
being
wolf.
sexist, but Jim Chapman's going to put up the picture of this.
Yes.
The wolf, the female wolf, not the
Yeah.
Woody wolf.
That's right.
Does she have like wolf contact
Mike,
lenses?
don't do it.
No,
Don't
she
be
has. I think
sexist.
she has those.
Is it sexist when you say something about a female, whether they're pretty or not pretty?
I'm just looking at this woman and thinking she's using contact lenses that make her eyes look like a wolf's eyes, which makes sense to be part of the thing. But banjos?
Well, you know what that means.
Instruments.
Well, Woody researches.
Oh yeah, I'm researching.
Dumb criminals.
Yes.
Reuben Simmons is a dumb criminal. He's only 18, so I guess we can cut him a little bit of slack. But he was attempting to rob a muffler shop in Chicago, which should be pretty easy in Chicago these days. All you got to do is just walk into the muffler shop and say, give me the money and leave.
Right.
But the problem, after demanding the money, is he was told that most of the cash was stored in a safe and the safe could only be opened by the store manager, and the store manager wasn't scheduled to come to work for a few hours. So confronted with this challenge, Simmons came up with a solution. He left his cell phone number for the store so that they can call him back once the manager arrived.
There you go. I mean,
seems logical.
And much to his surprise, the store decided to first call the police and then call Simmons back.
Yeah.
So that when Simmons came back to the muffler shop, the police were waiting for him there.
Nice.
Believe it or not, this turned into a shootout. This guy who didn't sound so serious in the beginning ends up in a shootout with these cops before eventually being arrested and nobody getting too seriously hurt or killed there. So some closing banjos for Reuben Simmons.
Reuben.
That's definitely a dumb criminal.
That's a dumb criminal.
Yeah, definitely dumb criminal.
Wow.
Hey, real quick before you hit that one, I got to apologize to Mike. I was saying he was sexist. It's actually, the term is called lookism. Lookism is discriminatory treatment of people who are considered physically unattractive. It occurs in a variety of settings, including dating, social environments, and workplaces.
That's bullshit.
Lookism has received less cultural attention than other forms of discrimination, such as racism and sexism, and typically does not have legal protections in other forms. So you're good to go.
I do not exercise lookism. If anything, I was
Why are you being so defensive?
countering that.
This day in crime for May 10th, y'all. May 10th, and I only got one for you today. Only got one for you, but it's a big one. 1994. John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown.
Yes, the real killer clown. The fake bucket.
Yeah, exactly. Is executed in Illinois for the murder of 33 young men and boys he raped and murdered between 1972 and 1978.
Yes. It's 27 of them, which he buried on his own property.
Did he get the chair? How did they do him? Chair?
I think he got the needle. I think they were doing the needle.
Look it up real quick.
Needle's way too kind for him.
Find out for us. Yeah, the needle really is. What a piece of crap he was, but a great documentary on Netflix covering
another great documentary.
John Wayne Gacy. I'm sure many people have seen.
Yeah, but he was like, a building inspector or something?
He's a painter.
And he was
painting
construction guy.
Yeah. That was your This Day in Crime.
Yes.
Hey, we got an app. People can check out all the episodes on
Real Life Real Crime Community app. Everything Real Life Real Crime, including Real Life Real Crime Daily, original Real Life Real Crime, and even Bloody Angola stuff.
Yes.
Post it in the app. Forums and feeds and the merch store and just everything Real Life Real Crime all in one spot.
That's right.
Update on cases and everything else. So y'all, in the app and everywhere else on social media is our new tip line from Miss Barbara Blunt's murder case, and it's 313-757-2847 or 313 RLRC tip. Y'all call it in. No tip is unimportant.
That's it. Let's get justice for Miss Barbara Blunt.
And we're getting a lot of traction in the case since we did the episode and everything else, and it's going places.
Very good. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton, and we love all y'all.
And I'm Mike Agovino.
The Lucas.
And for Real Life, Real Crime Daily, peace.
Business.
Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holiday. That's why as a My Lowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.